Hello, and welcome to the Divorced Dadvocate, where we help dads create a healthier and less traumatic divorce for themselves and their children. My name is Jude Sandoval, and I am your host. I am excited to chat with you today about the topic of narcissistic exes, or your ex. Hopefully you don't have exes, and hopefully you don't have narcissistic exes. That means you didn't learn your lesson the first time. I can't talk. And how to mitigate the damage they can do to your children. And so I had the opportunity to spend some time this weekend with some friends from a narcissist support group, and naturally our conversation started to go towards and lean towards talking about our kids and how can we deal with our kids, etc. So I wanted to share some tips about how we started talking about how to mitigate some of the damage that the narcissist exes do to our children. But first, I wanted to share with you a little bit of information about the dad's divorce blueprint. So, does your life feel like the one that you knew is crashing down around you? Are you looking for help in gathering the pieces and rebuilding yourself from the ground up? Are you dealing with the feelings of fear or anger or loneliness and grief arising from your divorce? So the dad's divorce blueprint is a proven effective step-by-step model for putting your life back together during and after divorce. So I will be facilitating this, and in the program, this is what you get. This is what it is. It's 6 live group coaching sessions that will help you rebuild your life one step at a time and move forward. You'll have an access to the recording of the presentations in case you miss any live sessions, electronic access to all course materials to provide real tools for creating a healthier, less traumatic divorce experience. You'll have lifetime access to the Dad's Divorce Blueprint Facebook support group to help you with the step-by-step process of rebuilding yourself from the ground up. You'll have priority access to the weekly private Divorce Dads meeting where you'll be supported by other divorced dads. And then as a bonus, I'm giving everybody from the show who subscribes from the show, who mentions that they've listened to the show, a private 1-hour one-on-one coaching session with me. So, the goal here is by the end of the program, you're going to have a crystal clear vision for your divorce and your life after divorce. You're going to uncover any hidden challenges that might be sabotaging you and solve them, and then feel renewed, re-energized, inspired to create the amazing life that you want and you deserve. So this is a course that is for any dad experiencing divorce who's looking looking for some help in gathering the pieces and rebuilding themselves from the ground up. What it is not is like any kind of hacks or simple hacks for trying to get through divorce, etc. So the class is going to start May 9th, and it'll be via Zoom or Webinar Jam. I haven't decided which platform yet. And if you go to the show notes below and click on it, you have a special offer. This is valued at $1,990, but I'm offering it for $498. So if you click on the link below, or if you go to dadsdivorceblueprint.com, that's dadsdivorceblueprint.com, you can sign up there with this special offer. It's not going to last forever, but I want to offer this here out there in the beginning for everybody listening to the show. It's a fantastic. It's proven. This method's been around, and this course that I'm facilitating has been around for decades. It is proven effective. It's helped thousands and thousands of people with their divorce, and I'm really excited to offer it out there today. So, all right. Also, I will have one other offer at the end if you listen in or listen all the way to the end, and that is a special coaching package as well. But let's talk about narcissistic exes and how we can mitigate the damage to our children. Firstly, let's clear up that I'm talking about a true clinical narcissist, not somebody, this narcissist label gets bantied around a lot. And, actually it was fun, not funny. It's actually sad. I was just doing a little research on this before the show, and I clicked on how to protect children from a narcissistic parent, and some of the first results that come up is, how do I protect my child from a narcissistic father? How do narcissistic fathers affect daughters? Can I block my child's father? It all starts with the father, which this is, all right, we've talked about this many times. It's a load of crap. It's not just fathers. There are plenty of narcissistic mothers out there, if not as many more than narcissistic fathers. So, if you have one, you're in company with many other men that have them as well. So, but we are, again, talking about the ones that show the signs of clinical narcissism. Now, that might be really hard for you to know or understand, because you may not have been able to get your ex or your soon-to-be ex into therapy, because narcissists are notorious for not wanting to go to therapy. It will potentially expose them to the shame that they feel deep down, and that is something that they never ever want to experience. So, or if you have got one into therapy, or they have gone to therapy, it did not last very long. So they may be undiagnosed. There are lots and lots of them, but again, I'm talking specifically about ones that are really seriously narcissistic, because basically we can all be a little bit self-centered and narcissistic some of the time. We have those traits, but these are the ones that are really, really deeply mentally and emotionally challenged with this stuff. And if you want more information about this, I've done a couple of previous podcasts and shows about this. Check back in some of the shows and take a look at them. I've had a couple of experts on about this as well, and we've talked about all the specific details, how to determine who they are, how to mitigate dealing with some of them individually, between you and your ex. And what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to talk about just 4 brief things that you can do. It's unbelievably frustrating to co-parent with a narcissist, and it's because the narcissist is simply not interested in anything, the best interest of anybody other than themselves and what they can gain, what's good for them, whatever it is centering around them. So as you can imagine, and as you may have experienced if you've been drawn to this show, that becomes really, really challenging, particularly if you are the one that is trying to look out and wants to look out as a good father for the best interests of your children, because then you're always faced with somebody who is just never, ever wanting to cooperate or work with you. And, and then lots of times, and I know this is my experience, was you start bending over backwards to really do everything because you want to make sure that your children are taken care of. And that then becomes really, really one-sided and difficult and challenging. So let's go through, I'm just going to go through some brief things. I'm not going to go in real specific detail about these, but this is what came up in our conversation this weekend, and some of the things that some of the other folks and I talked about, and how to mitigate the potential damage that the ex with narcissistic personality disorder can inflict on our children. And the first thing is, really, you can only control your environment. And as frustrating as that is, to know that they're going somewhere where they're with a narcissist, where the environment isn't necessarily the positive environment that you would like, you can't control that. But what you can control is your environment. So it's unbelievably critical to have an environment when your kids come back from the narcissistic ex that is a positive environment, and particularly an environment where it is safe for them to be able to share their feelings. So oftentimes a narcissistic parent's going to be putting all kinds of mental and emotional issues on the kids. The kids could react in many different ways sometimes, and was my experience in my childhood. It was always trying to make the parent happy, because the narcissistic parent was never happy and always wanting more and more and more from the child. So that then becomes difficult and frustrating. So having an environment that is conducive to your kid being able to open up and share their feelings is very, very critical. And I will give one way in which we did that, and we did that in our household, and that was having what we called a feelings check-in. So we probably did it every once a week at dinner time, and we'd say, hey, let's just do a feelings check-in and talk about how we are feeling about anything. But the cool thing about it is then they start sharing, but even if they're not, you have an opportunity to maybe prompt a little bit, not prompt, but pry, not pry either, just facilitate conversation and questions around how they're feeling about things, because you just want it to be open for them. Sometimes they might just be shut off or walled off, but that gives you an opportunity to just kind of bring this discussion. If it's around dinner time, or like we're camping this weekend around the campfire or something, having a feelings check-in is just a good opportunity, because then they know there's a safe time and place for them to always be able to say, hey, this is how I'm feeling about this topic at any given feelings check-in. So that is one way. Another one is determining what your values are, and then being very clear to your children what your shared family values are. And so let's define briefly, though, what values are. Values are, for me, something that you aspire to be. So a value would be something that is in that somebody cannot take away from you. So something you aspire to be that somebody cannot take away from you. So that would be something like honesty, right? You always have the choice to be honest. Somebody can never take that away. Another one could be kindness, right? You always have the choice. Nobody can ever take away that choice for you to be kind to somebody. So those are values. And what happens by sharing those and then living those in that environment that you've created is you've reminded the children, and it's okay to remind the children, hey, this is how we act at daddy's house, right? These are our values at daddy's house. That's not slamming the other parent. And again, another thing that we talked about this weekend was, don't ever, as hard as it may be, don't ever slam the other parent. Don't ever talk bad about the parent. It does no positive and has no positive impact in the children. If your children are the first and foremost in your mind, then never ever talk bad about the other parent, because it does absolutely nothing. It might make you feel a little better at the moment, but just know it is your child derives some of their identity from both parents, no matter what either parent, what other parent is, narcissistic or not, or good or bad, they derive some part of their personality from that. So basically, if you're bad mouthing the other parent, you're bad mouthing your kid, and that is not something you want to do. So, but back to the values, sharing those values, reminding them, and being, being open about them allows them to then see and understand and internalize that those are values that are important to you. And if they're going to the narcissist household, and those are not going to be values that are going to necessarily be held at the other household. So that is good, because then they derive part of that personality from being you and at that household. And then the next part of that is be consistent with that, with sharing what those values are. Ask them, remind them, who are you? This is something we do before school. Now, remember who you are, right? Remember who you are. Remember what your values are, so that they keep that stuff in the back of their mind. And then be consistent in all of that. all this, the environment that you create in and around your house, the opportunity for them to be open and share what their feelings are, and then consistently talk about, share, and live those values with your kids also. And those are three things that you specifically can do. We specifically can do as fathers. And then the last one that I'm going to throw in there also is, if you can get them in therapy, it's absolutely huge, because then it's a third party that isn't mom, that isn't dad, isn't anybody saying somebody's a narcissist, isn't a narcissist, etc. And it is a neutral third party that allows them to really just open up and not feel like anything, like they're taking sides or feeling bad about something, or just mixed up, or just don't understand. They have a neutral third party to really communicate with. And I know this has been something really that has been really fantastic in our family. And if you can find a good therapist, then that your child or children will feel very comfortable with, and then start to really begin to open up, that can be a huge game changer. And here's a little tip though, is the narcissistic ex may not want this, because this then has the potential of not only exposing stuff, well, not only exposing stuff, but mitigating all of these different mental, emotional games and issues that they will be playing and doing with the kids. Because I know that just because you left and gotten away from this, that these narcissistic behaviors and attitudes and sometimes abuse is not going to stop with you. It will go on to other people, and oftentimes then that goes on to the children. So don't be surprised if you get pushback on, oh, the kids don't need therapy, there's nothing wrong with them, etc. For me, that's always a clear sign that, oh, that is somebody that doesn't have the kids' best interests in mind, because there's nothing wrong with, and there's only a positive outcome for spending time, the kids spending time in therapy and having a neutral third party to chat with them about, and be there for them to open up and share their feelings with them. So those were just some brief tips. Again, there's a lot of great literature out there if you want to dive deep into this. It's something that's coming, even though it's a small minority. And I know if you're listening to this, you probably have some interest or some experience in this. But really, the percentage wise, is it's a small percentage of people out there that have these issues or have these exes like this. But they are incredibly difficult to deal with, and it's incredibly challenging to mitigate some of their issues. There's some great books, dive into it. There's one, I don't have it here, but there are several of them. Just do a Google search if you can get past all of how dads are bad with how dads are the only ones narcissistic and etc. You can find some good resources around that. So I hope this helped. To finish up, I do want to offer that. So this is what I've been working on, and I've been working on this with some clients, and this is a real specific way in which to coach through divorce. So I've been trying to tweak a little bit and find a more effective way to coach, and this is called laser coaching. And what this is I will be offering 1 full year of laser coaching for only $997. So yes, let me repeat that, because that was not, I did not misspeak. 1 full year of laser coaching for only $997. But here's the catch. So I can't do this with everybody that's listening and everybody that calls me, because I mean, at this price, there's not a coach out there that's doing this. And it is unbelievably effective. I've been working with it with some other clients now. I'm finding it unbelievably effective. They're having some great results. They are loving this. And it's the perfect fit for fathers going through divorce. So if you'll go to divorcedadvocate.com and book a call with me and put in the notes that we're going to talk about laser coaching, I can do this for 10 people. I've got room in my schedule where I can do this for 10 people, 1 full year, laser coaching, $997. So if you've been on the fence for coaching, you've been looking for somewhere that you need a little bit of help, or you've been looking for a therapist, but you can't afford that, let's sit down, let's talk. This is going to be absolutely game-changing for you, and it's going to help you mitigate the divorce, create a healthier and less traumatic one for yourself and your children. So if you found value today, please like us, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give us a review on whatever podcast platform. Don't forget, the Dad's Divorce Blueprint starts on May 9th. So go to dadsdivorceblueprint.com, sign up for the class. We're going to have a lot of men on there helping and supporting each other through this class and through their divorces. So thanks so much. Have a fantastic week, and I will talk to you soon.